In this video, I'll show you how to plan your UniFi Wi-Fi properly to get the best coverage across your property. Before you buy anything, it's best to start with a plan. Ubiquiti's free UniFi Design Center is a great starting point. It lets you visualize coverage, compare access point models, and get a rough idea of how many APs you might need. It includes a wide range of building materials, which makes it very useful. There are always going to be factors it can't account for, but it's a solid starting point. Wi-Fi is omnidirectional. Once the signal leaves the access point, it enters a completely uncontrolled environment, and it's very much governed by physics. So what really stops Wi-Fi? Interference is often blamed, but physical barriers are far more likely to be the issue. Brick, concrete, and especially double-skinned cavity walls will significantly reduce signal. Metal is particularly bad news. Foil-backed insulation, foil-backed plasterboard, steel beams, large mirrors, fridges, water tanks, electric underfloor heating can all severely block Wi-Fi. And if you're wondering why you're not getting Wi-Fi outside, it might be because of your UV or solar controlled glass. But don't worry, not all materials are bad for Wi-Fi. Timber, plasterboard, stud walls and standard ceilings generally have very little impact on Wi-Fi. APs mounted inside wooden joinery or cupboards usually perform just as well. Standard glass also has minimal effect. One misconception we should definitely discuss: while it can be tempting to spend your money on a single, more powerful access point, that often isn't the most effective approach. It's also worth remembering that Wi-Fi regulations vary around the world. In the EU, for example, transmit power is tightly controlled. Distributing multiple access points evenly will almost always give better results. So what do we factor in when we're planning our deployments? We think of the buildings horizontally rather than vertically. Walls matter far more than ceilings, so we aim to get past solid walls rather than stacking APs floor to floor. In most cases, Wi-Fi will pass through floors without any issue. Okay, so what's better, ceiling mounted access points or in wall? Ceiling mounted access points are almost always the best option. In wall access points make the most sense when retrofitting using existing Ethernet sockets or when you need wired pass-through ports. In an ideal world, you'd be able to run Ethernet exactly where you want every access point to go, but in reality, cabling is often the biggest constraint, and that naturally influences where access points can be installed. Using existing Ethernet is absolutely fine, and in many cases it's the most sensible option. If you do reuse existing cabling, it's worth checking the cable type. It's usually printed along the sheath. Cat5e will comfortably handle gigabit and normally 2.5 gigs. For higher speeds you need Cat6 or above really. Cat6 will do 30 to 40 meters. If you've got a longer run then you really need to be going for Cat6a or higher. So for installers like us, we've got plenty of experience and the tools to be running these cables properly. For DIY installations, it can be a little bit more challenging. The key is to balancing what's technically ideal with what's practical in the building you're working with, and to do your research. I hope you found this video useful. Best of luck with your project, and I'll see you again soon.